Good morning, guys. Unfortunately, my walking area has been stolen by a freaking John Deere. But I can't get mad because it's John Deere and my grandpa worked for John Deere. He retired from John Deere. So, y'all, this morning, what was on my mind was how men and women can walk around with the same kind of feelings but not express them. You know how they're always saying like women have to be strong and smile for their kids. I've done that for I don't know how many years. And then they say that men hide their feelings and so they don't express how they feel, and we're walking around feeling the same way but not expressing it. So I was just thinking about that today. When my kids were little, I would go through these bouts of depression brought on by either family issues or attached to my self-worth. So I would swing in and out of these moods of depression and sadness, and I wouldn't be able to like really show it. Back then, I think I was doing therapy. I would go through these bouts of depression, swing in and out, but I would still get up, play, and do everything with my kids so that they weren't affected by these bouts of depression. Simultaneously, due to things that were going on in the military, my husband was going and experiencing these bouts of depression as well. But we didn't really vocalize to one another that we were both suffering at the same time. And a lot of people couldn't tell what was going on with me because I was always smiling. And they would think I would be this great person to be around, and did not know I was internally suffering with depression. Really bad depression at that. So, I say all that to say this. When you're with somebody, no matter who it is that you're close to, you should feel like it's okay to talk to them. The way I've always felt is my feelings were a burden. So that is why a lot of times I refrain from talking to people about my feelings. But that's the great thing about YouTube. I'm talking to me. I don't know how these feelings started. I wish I knew. I would like to say it probably started when I was much younger. A lot of my baggage did. What led me to believe that they were a burden? I'm not sure. I think it ties in with the guilt. I really feel like it just ties in with that. So I think that's how I came to this conclusion that my feelings were a burden. I don't express them to people, and I feel bad for expressing them to people. I feel guilty for having these feelings. Like, who am I to have these feelings? I have a pretty good life. And so when I went on into my marriage, I hadn't resolved these feelings of my feelings are a burden, and I didn't express them. I was always consumed and worried about everyone's feelings around me, and I didn't worry myself with my own feelings. And again, how can you help those around you if you're not helping yourself? The audacity, the gall. Like, how are you doing this? So I go on to help friends, family, anyone around me internally suffering. It was a It was a thing. Like, we're all carrying and shouldering probably the same type of burdens, and we express them differently. And men and women both alike tend to hide their feelings and not express them. I don't want to feel like I'm overly emotional, or I'm nagging, or unappreciative to things that I have. So I just refrain from saying anything at all. Also, it is the fear of being dismissed. There are times that I have opened up and my feelings were minimized. Great, some more noise. It's fun, you guys. I forget that he does this every morning. There's this fear that my feelings will be minimized. I am so sorry. This is probably so triggering. It reminds me of like nails on a chalkboard right now. My feelings have been minimized in the past. I've opened up to people and then it gets minimized. And then I feel like my feelings aren't valid. But they very much are. Like, don't let anyone minimize your feelings. At least validate them, even if you don't agree. And then the thing about men, they don't want to feel like, oh, like you're going to emasculate them for having these feelings, and that they're less than because they have these feelings. Like, they aren't allowed to cry or feel. And I think society puts these things on both of us. You know, you have to keep it together for your kids. Your husband has to keep it together for you. And together, we're a hot mess. We're falling apart. Yet we don't want each other to know, because society says it's wrong for us to feel that way. So we're not allowed to fall apart. We're not allowed to have those moments. But I also feel like that greatly contributes to the mental health crisis that we're going through in America, because we're so busy trying to hide fake and funk in front of people that we're wearing this mask all day. And when you take it off in your alone hours, it's overwhelming. There have been days I have smiled from ear to ear all day, eternally crying, okay? Just grinning ear to ear, just all day. And I'm really like boo-hooing. So I come home after grinning from ear to ear all day, feeling emotionally fatigued, because that's not how I'm feeling. Like, I've gone to get-togethers and I'm like trying my hardest to be in the moment, smile, and internally I just don't want to be there. I want to be in a ball crying. So, you know, we spend all day around people. Like, I understand at work you cannot cry all day. I get that. Around people that know you, I feel like you should be able to open up, cry, and show your feelings, show your cards to that person without feeling like you have to put on. We're so busy trying to buy things to keep up with the Joneses, trying to smile so you look like your life is happy. Like, we're so busy, our whole life becomes this facade. We're putting on this act. We're all theatrical now. We're all putting on these shows now. We're all of a sudden, we're all theater majors. And we're putting shows on for our friends, our family, our children, our dogs. Well, actually, the dogs can tell. Literally, everyone around us, we're just putting shows on, show after show, day after day. And finally, you get exhausted, and one day, you don't have the energy. There have been about, I don't know how many days that I have not wanted to get out of bed. I do get out of bed because although they're not little ones, they're little ones to me. We're still the same age apart. I have little ones watching me, so meltdowns just don't feel like they can happen, you know. A lot of times when I'm in these moods, these funks, I tend to stick to myself and try to process out my feelings. But today, I'm in one of those moods, right? I'm just not feeling 100% myself. emotionally dragging, physically fatigued. So my husband wanted to come with me. This is my time where I kind of like decompress. And I don't want to worry about how anyone else is feeling. Yes, it sounds very, very selfish, but I have to be at times. Like, I don't want to be around everyone. The way I decompress is being by myself, and it seems to work for me. You know, I get it out. I'm not snapping at anybody, and it seems like it works for all of us, right? Hold on. Is there a car? Oh. Seems like it works for all of us. Like, you know. But he wanted to be a part of this, and I'm like, listen, this is my alone time. This is where I vent to my peoples. We chat, and then we go about our day. Excuse me again. We go about our day, and it's lovely. But he wanted in on my me time. And I was like, listen, I just can't. I need this for me. I need myself. I need this time for me. Like, I just need it. And you kept making me feel bad and guilty. But I had to stand my ground because this is my form of self-care. And I can't let somebody infringe on that. I know that he's going through something too. It's just been a very hard time since he lost his job. And he's been feeling really upset about it. And I get it. But I don't know. Honestly. Whoa, those Arby's. Okay. I don't know what I can do or say to make the situation better. I don't think there's much I can do. And quite honestly, you know, after the first 3 weeks and the story was kind of like still the same, I kind of checked out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I tried to be supportive, but it's hard. It's hard for me because I'm a solution person, and even though like I vent and stuff, I'm always steady looking for a solution at the same time. So it's hard. We're different in that aspect. Like, he can go on and on and on about it, whereas I'm like, okay, so now what? And he's like, what do you mean? You know, this is my plan. So I don't know, you guys. This is my self-care, but like, he needs people to vent to. I have you guys to vent to. I have my friend from San Diego. We vent to each other. And there's a handful, probably like 2 people, that I am 100% honest with. Like, I don't hold back. And the rest of the people, I guess, are acquaintances. So I try my hardest to be aware of what is going on with me emotionally now, because I've covered it, masked it for so long that it almost hurts my heart when I express my real feelings. Like, I literally get chest pains when I'm telling my truth. That's how foreign it is, because I spent years protecting those around me. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this is hard to say, you know. It's hard for me to be 100, like, I'm honest, but it's very delicate. But there's a point where you need to be kind of hard on the person, and I had a hard time with that. And I get chest pains when I'm expressing myself or saying anything about my feelings. For the most part, it's really when I'm expressing my feelings, the chest pains come on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this hurts, and how do I express this? And yeah, it's just it's hard for me to express myself and tell people, like, this is how I feel, this is what's going on with me, this is why I'm hurting, This is why I'm upset. It's just difficult. So, I'm working on that. I'm working on being able to express myself. And for men out there, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay. We are all humans. We're not robots. So to feel like you have to hold these feelings in because of a societal point of view is wrong. You know what I mean? They put all these parameters on us that kind of make us robotic because they tell us what is socially accepted and what's not. And you have to make your own social norms because, listen, we're not living for society, and society is not paying my bills. So do not worry what society thinks of you. If you're a little more on the tender side and you're a guy, there's a woman out there that'll appreciate the fact that you are so in touch with your feelings, and you'll probably be a very tender lover because of that. A lot of closed off men have a hard time being open and vulnerable with their loved ones. So don't feel bad. If you're a little harder nut to crack, that's okay too. But you should work on trying to open yourself up, because you can't truly know somebody unless you allow them to be inside of your world 100%. So if you're with somebody and you're closed off, how are they in fact getting to know the real you? Like, how much are you letting someone in, and how much do you want them in? Because if you don't fully want them in, definitely don't start a relationship, because it's not going to go too far if you're not letting them in. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I love having these talks with you. I'm sorry for all the background noise. Like, I didn't expect that. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys consider joining the family. And I will see you in the next video. You have a really nice day. I'm gonna go inside and drink or do something. I feel like something's caught in my throat.